All right, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about using the Padlet, and I want to talk to you about why I arrived here. I found that often I wanted students, I noticed that they weren't really, I wasn't able to activate their prior knowledge as effectively as I wanted to, and I needed a place for them to really see all of the ideas. And so, it's a sort of discussion forum. It's almost like everything is in a separate room. Every step you take is an extra effort. I wanted something where they could see it all at once. I wanted something that maximized the use of sort of the visual component. I'm going to show you different ways that I've used this. And so this is one of the ways that I used it. I find that so I could teach about copyright. So in 642, you're teaching about the use of different types of multimedia tools, right? But I don't want to just teach them the skills. I want them to teach them to use it in powerful ways. So I had this issue, they don't get copyright, and I wanted to do it in powerful ways. So I had them scour the internet, or actually I didn't scour the internet, I said pick a powerful image and post it up here. And so some of them found, and so collectively, for some reason when we moved it over here, it reorganized everything, but it displays it all on one screen. And you can see all these images, and then the effect of the power of those images, you really feel it. There are many, like there's a soldier coming home, sunsets, and there's a mother holding your dying child in her arms. And so what it did is it really gave us the full impact of these images, and at the same time had artifacts we could come back to as we deepened our understanding of copyright. So this was a great way to brainstorm. And then they had to go back and they had to research these different images and find out what the copyright truly was. One of the things, I'm going to show you different ways that I've used it too, but I do want to say we've been talking about when students generate discussions or they put their ideas out there, how can we provide a way to sort of put our impact on it? And so I'm going to show you some, for this is the copyright, right? I can actually create a screencast going through these, and I did that actually with this one, talking about, oh my gosh, what made this, to me, what made it so powerful? Look at how it's framed. There's a rule of thirds and things like that. Look at the emotion. Look what's centered. Look what, so I can identify things within the images that they noticed, or in the commentary, the way I guided it at the bottom, that really made this powerful. And then, so we got that on the table, it's powerful. Now how do we do this in a copyright-friendly way? So that's one way to provide feedback. The other dilemma I had in another class was, we can exit out. So they have to create learning maps. So they have to sequence out their instruction for a module. And so there's a very specific way that you have to do this, right? You have to look at the hierarchy of skills and the things that they have to meet your final goal. And they have a format that they look at. And one of the problems I've always found is they don't always provide, follow the format. So I wanted a way for us to just share so we can look at all of our learning maps. And originally, for our collaborative work, I had it, they always operated within a wiki. And it screwed everything up. Every time they posted an image, because we have a bunch of students who are posting images from different places. Some wanted to use their concept mapping tool, take a picture. I wanted low tech options. I said post-it notes, because it's about the ideas, not the technology. And in a wiki, it just screwed everything up. People things got deleted, the size of the image. And so here, you don't have to worry about the size of the image. And then this is a great place for them to actually see the different types of ways of sequencing the instructions, but I can also go back and pick out ones in my video that are great examples. And so for each student in their proposals, I give individual feedback, like you're way off. I don't do that here, right, in a very public place. I do that in their proposals and say, look, right now you're saying you're talking about actions that students will do. That's not what a learning map is. But here, I can say collectively, let's look at some of the things that we found about learning maps that are really good examples about how we, identified the entry-level skills or what the entry-level skills, how we sequenced it. So I have these artifacts in a very easy way, presented in a very easy way for me to go back and share, identify the better elements of all the students. And then the thing about it, Padlet is doesn't only allow you to share images. This is the old one. You can also share text. So this is one I did like 2 years ago. One of them, the first one is their first thoughts. So at the beginning of this unit in 290, what in a digital age, what are sort of important values that we need to think about or have or emphasize, right? And so these are their first thoughts. And I know it looks very confusing. Padlet allows you to organize them, but also you can click on them and then you can just progress them individually that way as well. But it does have an automatic organization function. And then for this one, after we went through the whole digital citizenship unit, they had to go back and make a video about their new understanding of what values are in the digital age. And then we can go back and look at sort of their initial thoughts and we compare and contrast them with the artifacts that they created. So these are videos that they created, that they can post. And sort of depending on how, usually we give a little bit more information. This is one of my early ones in the headings. It's easier to sort of move through the collective, right? Oh, I see these are common. I can pick on, this is about integration. Let me compare and contrast so-and-so. These are about maturity. So depending, you can set up the assignment better. This is one of my earlier ones. But students can post videos as well. They can link to other sites. They can post text. I can export it as an Excel file so I can quickly look at the participation. So it really is a useful tool because one of the ways that I'm really exploring now is, as I think about designing my next course, I really want to maximize the use of imagery. So I've been thinking we have a lot of videos, a lot of talking heads, and so like we're teaching the 708 course, and one of the suggested methods, after the discussions, you post a video about going through the discussion, talking about the highlights, the points, and things like that. So what I do is my presentation isn't a presentation of me as a talking head. I've created sort of metaphors, visual metaphors of the discussion as a way to sort of help them process it. And it's something that I'm sort of experimenting with right now. But
do they have a limitation on the length of the video?
I don't think so, especially because you can link out to YouTube. You can always get around. Yes, generally, I don't know offhand what the file limitations are, but you can always upload to YouTube, and usually that displays better. So then you're only struggling with the limitations of YouTube itself. So, but to me, this was something in those initial stages has been very helpful in terms of getting student ideas out there and giving them a way to share not just some text online, but I want them to think about the power of image and imagery as well as audio.
We're saying we're doing some design work. We have all these, reflecting all these pictures and things like that.
This would be great.
Place to kind of just have your almost inspiration board.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, and there's a difference between, really, if you look at it, if you have to click on something or open a file and you can't see them all together, those are two different learning experiences.
Do you have to invite students to be part of your Padlet? How do they get to this Padlet?
I give them the URL. And the thing is, at this point, I did chalk up the money and pay for full, like I don't think you get all this exporting, but I think it's $30 per year. And that can come out of PE. So to me, it was definitely worth buying the full service. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking for exploring the capacity of this a little bit more. So that's my example.
This would be great if you're teaching imaging, visualizing during reading. So our text structure now.
This is you use this Padlet to create a different platform for students to collaborate.
Right, to share,
To provide multimedia which you cannot do well in a black.
Right. And
it's just an add-on to the.
Yes, and it's a mature. I forgot what the first name of Padlet was. They changed it like 3 years ago. But it's mature, right? It's been around for a while, so there are benefits to that. It's not going anywhere. It's not something that I think is going to be a real fly-by-night. So
you are using the pro account.
Yeah.
It's like a 30 bucks.
Yeah, but this was created by free. account. This was done when I was teaching 290,
But it's
and
only
that
of,
was my
only of
approval.
this
Yeah, yeah.
this is already been included into your program.
Yeah, so yeah.
So long an instructor like me, I have the account and I can invite all of my students. You don't have to have an account.
Right. Nope, they don't have to create accounts.
It's much like this. Another similar app called Word something.
Oh, Wordle kind of thing?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is much simpler.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
more advanced.
But I like the way that you can go through it through sort of the slideshow. You know, if it gets messy or.
And I think Blackboard, there's a limitation, it's that sometimes it's very linear.
Yes.
Or text
Yes.
heavy. So this gives you more kind of visual.
Yeah. And I think we can really expand our conversations more if we can start using more media in how we allow our students to share what they know and what they understand, as well as the way that we speak and talk to them. I think we can create a powerful learning experience.
So Kathryn, what's the difference between the Padlet and the Google Drive? But of course, Google Drive you have to have an account, so you can also put up the things.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't put things. Think of this as like a bulletin board where anybody can go and slap something on it. Whereas Google Drive is a file repository system in a way with some applications thrown in. Sure, you can create an open Google Doc or an open presentation where people can slap in their work, but they're never going to see thumbnail versions side by side that gives them a view of the landscape all at once. So if you think about that.
Pinterest.
Yes, it is like Pinterest. It is very much like Pinterest.